Hello, I'm Hilary and I'm back with another story. So whether you're snuggled with a blanket or favourite toy, today's story is Postman Pat's wet day. It was a wet day, a very wet day. Pat said, "Oh, rain again. I must put on my wellies." Just sat by the fire. He didn't like the rain. "Come on," said Pat. "We have to take the letters. Never mind the rain. We have a nice new van." Jess did not want to go away from the fire. Pat put on his wellies, put on his raincoat, picked up Jess. Jess still didn't want to go. Pat said, "Come on, Jess, you can go in my coat. It's warm and dry." Pat put Jess inside his coat. Jess looked at the rain. He did not like it. Pat ran to his van. Jess had a basket in the van. He went in his basket, shut his eyes. He did not want to see the rain. Pat drove his van along the valley. There was a lot of rain and a lot of mud. Splash, splash went the van. Pat saw Sam. "Hello, Sam. What a wet day." Sam said, "Hello, Pat. I like your new van. Very smart. How's Jess?" Pat said, "Jess is in his basket. He doesn't like the rain. I think he's asleep." Sam said, "I hate the rain too. It must be nice to be a cat." Pat said, "Here's a letter for you, Sam. I hope it's something good. See ya. Cheerio." Pat was on his way. Then he saw Peter Fogg. Peter was on his tractor. The tractor was all muddy, and so was Peter. He had mud on his trousers, mud on his shirt, mud all over his face. Pat said, "What have you been doing?" Peter said, "It's this rain. I fell in the mud. I'm home for a hot bath." Pat said, "That's a good idea. But before you go, here's a letter for you. It's from your girlfriend. That will cheer you up." "Great," said Peter. "Oh, this rain, I'm fed up with it. Cheerio." Pat went on his way. He had a letter for Granny Dryden. He went to her house. "Hello, Miss Dryden. Here's a letter for you today." Granny Dryden said, "Lovely, I like letters." She opened the letter, read it quickly, and looked out of the window. "Just look at my washing," she said. "I left it out to dry. Now look at it, all wet." Pat helped Granny Dryden get the washing in. They put it by the fire to dry. Granny Dryden said, "Will you have a cup of tea before you go? And if Jess is with you, perhaps he'd like some milk." Pat said, "Lovely, yes please." Pat went on his way. He went to Thompson Ground. He had a letter for Alf and 2 letters for Dorothy. The rain had made a pond in the field and the ducks were swimming in it. Jess looked out at the ducks. Pat said, "Your ducks like the rain. I wish I did." Alf smiled and said, "Look at Jess. He thinks my ducks are mad playing in the rain. Come on, Jess, you coming out for a swim?" Jess would not come out. He didn't like the water. He went back to his basket and back to sleep. "Cheerio," said Pat. Pat was on his way. Called on Ted. He had a parcel for him. "Good," said Ted. "That will be the parts for Granny Dryden's clock. Now I can mend it." Pat said, "How do you like this rain?" Ted said, "I don't mind. I have lots of jobs to do. I'm too busy to bother about the rain." Pat said, "Do you like my new van?" "Lovely," said Ted, "but it's all muddy. I'll get my hose and wash it down." Pat said, "Your hose in all this rain?" "Yes," said Ted. "No bother. Just hang on." Ted got out his hose and washed Pat's van. He washed until all the mud came off. "Thanks," said Pat. "Looks like new again. Thanks a lot." "Oh, bother," said Ted. "Cheerio," said Pat. He was on his way. Pat said, "Time to go home, Jess. Time for tea." Jess was glad. "The rain stopped," said Pat. It had, and it was all fine again. Jess jumped out the van, he ran round the puddles and into the house. Sat by the fire, had a wash, dish of fish. Oh, it was nice to be home. I hope you liked today's story. I'll come back another day with another one. Bye.